Hello, folks, and welcome to another shadowy corner of Town Square Tales, where we gather around the old town square to discuss the mysteries that time forgot. I'm your host, Stacy Glover. Today we're stepping back to the spring of 1949 in Birmingham, Alabama, a place where steel mills hummed and families sought simple joys like a Sunday matinee at the local movie theater. But on April 10th, that innocence shattered with the brutal murder of 9-year-old Phyllis Dean Carver. This isn't just a tale of tragedy. It's a web of hurried verdicts, conflicting confessions, and a family's cry for true justice. We'll walk through the facts in the order they unfolded, sticking strictly to the timeline. So pull up a chair, dim the lights, and let's follow the trail of this unsolved riddle. Picture Birmingham in 1949. Ensley, once a city in its own right, is a working-class community within Birmingham. TCI's rail mill runs at full blast, employing hundreds of workers, and a bustling downtown filled with shops, movie theaters, a Carnegie library, and restaurants like the Ensley Grill appeals to people from across the county. At Bayview Lake, just a short drive away, there's a quiet spot where sweethearts park under the stars. Bayview is a model town designed by TCI as a community for its workers. It is a place folks feel safe until that April day when a little girl's life ends in its shadows. Let's start with the timeline, the accepted one anyway. It's Sunday, April 10th, 1949. At 1 p.m., the Carver family of Bayview has Sunday dinner. At 3:30 p.m., 9-year-old Phyllis Dean Carver eats her last meal: corn on the cob, cabbage, string beans, and some oranges. By 4 p.m., her mother, Ellis Carver, drops her off at the Ensley Theatre. Phyllis begged to see angels with dirty faces, while her mother and a sibling head to another theater a few miles away. Phyllis' mother tells her to catch the bus home to Bayview, something Phyllis has done many times before. At 4:10, a soda jerk at the pharmacy next door to the theater spots Phyllis flipping through the pages of some comic books. After a few minutes, Phyllis leaves for the theater. She has 50 cents in the pocket of her green-striped raincoat to pay for her ticket, enough for some candy or popcorn, and bus fare home. The movie begins around 4:30 and ends around 6:04 p.m. Phyllis has approximately 10 minutes to walk 2 blocks to the bus stop to catch the bus heading for home. Phyllis never boards the 6:20 bus to Bayview. At 6:30, an elderly man claims to see a dark sedan on the dirt road that meanders alongside Bayview Lake, heading toward Edgewater. He claims to hear a child in the car screaming, but admits that he cannot see into the vehicle. Between 3 and 4:30 a.m., Odell Carver, Phyllis' father, and a local TCI policeman come across a green 1941 Dodge with a male sleeping inside it. He's sound asleep with a blanket pulled up to his face. Carver and the policeman think the man's pulled off the road to sleep off a night of drinking. Since they don't see Phyllis in their search, they continue on. What they also don't see is the young man's girlfriend who was with him. The young couple leave Bayview Lake around 5:30 a.m. However, a clue later found adds to the enigma. A pool of blood near where the car's bumper was located hints at a grim connection. On Monday morning, April the 11th, between 7:30 and 8 a.m., Phyllis' body is found in a wooded area near the lake, not far from where her father had seen the green Dodge sedan. Her body is a half mile from the main road, and that same distance from the nearest house. The scene is horrific. Multiple stabbings and mutilation so vicious that any one wound could have killed her. It's a case of overkill, plain and simple. And what of the young people in the green sedan? The next day, the car is found in Praco. The man found inside had borrowed the vehicle and had been parking with his girlfriend. It's a case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Officials had also found a second set of tire tracks near where the green sedan had been parked. Those tracks indicate the couple parked at the location after Phyllis' death, and that whoever had committed the crime left in a hurry. At 3 p.m., Phyllis' body is taken to TCI Hospital in Fairfield, where an autopsy is performed by pathologist Dr. Louis Claiborne Posey. His report details Phyllis' last hours. The facts are gruesome and heartbreaking. The police continue to work the case, while the newspapers keep it in the public eye. The public are encouraged to send in letters with leads. On April 21st, a letter lands on columnist Clancy Lake's desk, pointing a finger at a man and hinting at a cream-colored vehicle. This echoes the miner's tale from Bayview Lake. A strange twist, though, when a jealous housewife confesses it was all a hoax. Living in Southside near Glen Iris just 2 months after marrying, she penned the letter to track her husband's whereabouts that fateful night. Detective Paul McMahon hauls her husband into the police headquarters, where he proclaims his innocence. And under relentless questioning, the wife admits her scheme, saying, "I just wanted to know where he was." Her husband, weary, sighed, "You can see what I have to put up with." The unraveling doesn't stop there. The wife is still tied to her first husband, as she hasn't waited the required 60 days before marrying again. Her husband files for an annulment that week, and she faces a $50 fine and 2 months in jail for defaming her husband. Leaving us to wonder what other twists hide in this tangled tale. The police turned their gaze to the Bayview Mulga community, convinced that Phyllis Dean Carver was taken by someone she knew. All of her family are questioned, and many in the community. 6 confessions, which one is true? Beginning in 1950, 6 people admit to killing Phyllis Carver. In February 1950, a man is picked up on vagrancy charges and admits to Phyllis's murder. Details are scarce and the confession fades into the shadows. A Jefferson County jail prisoner in 1951 writes a detailed confession, then hangs himself. This confession's kept hush-hush until 1958. James E. Norris in Los Angeles, California, claims a 1951 revenge killing on a Carter girl in Birmingham. He's proven to have been incarcerated at the time of Phyllis' death. Another is a mystery man in Ensley, his face blacked out in the papers. In May 1951, John Pinckney Hamaker, a Mulga man, confesses in Abingdon, Virginia, after a peeping Tom charge. He says he and another man saw Phyllis at the Ensley Theatre, lured her for a ride, stole a 1940 car, drove to Bayview Lake via Mulga Loop Road, struck her right upper lip, stabbed her repeatedly, assaulted her, burned the car, threw the knife in the lake, and later burned his clothes. He describes her outfit in detail, admits prior attempts to molest her, and says he's ill and needs to be locked up. He confesses again later in 1951 and 1953 under truth serum at Bryce Hospital. A burned car is found in Jefferson County, but it's not linked to the crime. Hamaker just didn't confess to Phyllis' murder. While in Virginia, he admitted to watching 2 girls and molesting boys and another girl when he lived in Mulga. Something to keep in mind, the Virginia officers had no idea of the Phyllis Carver case in Birmingham. They had never asked Hamaker about it. He volunteered the information. Police in Virginia contact the Birmingham authorities with news of Hamaker's confession, and soon Hamaker's extradited back to Alabama. An important point made by Birmingham news staff reporters is that Virginia officers say a warrant charged Hamaker with murder. Birmingham detectives deny it. He's extradited, held in the Bessemer jail on vagrancy, and stays 11 months without a trial on any charge. Now enter Stanford Ellis Fewell, a 20-year-old local man arrested in 1952 at Fort Hood, Texas, 3 years after the crime. Ellis is a sergeant in the Army and a Korean War veteran. He's been wounded on the right side of his body and received the Purple Heart. He's also a cousin of Phyllis Dean Carver's and had been at her house the day before the murder. He and his brother Joe, also on leave from the military at the time of Phyllis' death, had been questioned along with everyone else at the time of the murder. He's questioned again in 1952 at Fort Hood. Over the next few days, Fewell would give several confessions and almost immediate recantations. When questioned by military police, Ellis claimed that he and his brother Joseph Barton Fewell, also in the Army and currently stationed in Korea, saw Phyllis in front of the Ensley Theatre, and that the last time he saw her, she was walking down 19th Street toward TCI with his brother Joe. Ellis claimed that he and Joe argued before parting company. Ellis makes another statement once officials from Birmingham arrive to take him back to Birmingham. His story mimics Hamaker's. He and his brother saw Phyllis at the Ensley Theatre, stole a 1941 car, drove to Bayview via Mulga Loop Road, struck her right upper lip, stabbed her repeatedly, and dragged her from the car. Burned the car or abandoned it, threw the knife in a stream, and the next morning burned his Army uniform. He claimed that his brother Joe was present but did not get out of the car. His motive? Ellis said that he was mad at the world. In yet another confession, Ellis says that Phyllis claimed to know a family secret and planned to tell her father. The secret involved his older brother Joe. Ellis becomes enraged and kills Phyllis. But many of the part of Ellis's confessions are vague. He can't recall details and mentions no assault, no stolen car, abandoned car, or knife is found. So how do two men, a year apart, in different states, give such similar stories?